Okay, so what we're going to work on now is our bevels. Now these bevels, they need to be very clean and very precise, as you can see over here. See, they are just like a nice bevel, and it ends up until this point, and that point is pretty much like the end over here. Now the only problem is that I know from experience that with this kind of geometry, especially in this area, this might become a problem. So I first of all want to do some cleanup. First of all, these edges over here, they are too close to the corners, which means that the bevel cannot extend beyond that point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move these all the way back. There will be no bevels here, so this is like a nice buffer point where we can leave these edges. And deselect this one. This one is technically still connected, I guess. So we'll see. Just press Ctrl Backspace, so that one survives. This one, there will be no bevels here, but I do not just want to like merge it down, because you never want to just do like a cut like this on a round bit, because that will look ugly inside of your high poly. So that's why I'm not doing that right now. So okay, we got that point. Now one thing I'm worried about is first of all, these we would need to like merge together, but let's do this. I will show you what I'm worried about. I am worried about the fact that if I do a bevel here, because of these edges over here, that it will just completely break. So here, if I would add a chamfer here, see, that's what I mean. Let's set this to like 4 segments and maybe like a bit more into the radius. So it breaks here, here, and here. And I don't like that. That just becomes a pain. Now, one thing I sometimes do, which is a bit counter. Oh, I still have my select by angle turned on. So select by angle at like an angle 5. So what I tend to do is then I tend to like select this face, but we technically did some optimization, but we might need to redo that. And then just press delete. Now I'm just going to try this out. It's good to try things out. So if you then select this face and press cap poly, because this face now has nothing trying to like connect it or distort anything, this might actually work. Now, one thing I first want to focus on actually is I do not like this. Actually, yeah, let's undo that first, because that makes it easy for us to select. I don't like this. This looks nice. This looks ugly. So what I'm going to do is, that's just me hand placing. So if I just go ahead and wherever we have our end of our cylinder, which is over here, let's place a quick edge. Actually, let's do Alt X. So here, so let's place a quick line. And place another line over here. And I'm going to make this nice and smooth. I'm just having a look at my reference. How is something like this? Here, so this line is just like a guideline so that I can move this. Because I, of course, moved this by hand. Which means that I just kind of like eyeballed it. So now I can just quickly... Oh, hey, you two are supposed to be on top of each other. There you go. How does that look? Yeah, that looks better. Maybe move this one over here. Maybe move you. Oh, it's because I have ignore backfacing turn on. Then I want to make sure. Luckily, ignore backfacing whenever you use Alt X. It will just see through it. See? Smooth. So before we do our bevels, I just wanted to fix that. So I'm just having a very quick check. So that looks correct. And it goes straight. That's no problem. This one. So on this side, this looks correct. Yes, I'm just looking at my reference here. And then we have this piece over here, which for us is looking a little bit different than in our reference. But that is because we are going to go for a slightly different design over here. Because in our reference, this looks like it goes like this. But that's no problem. Like, we can do this. That shouldn't be an issue. Here, I don't know if we want to maybe like try that. So basically, the way that this one works is they move it. I'm doing this super sloppy because I just want to see how that looks. So they move it something in like this direction. So they like make this round. But I'm not sure if that... what do you guys think? I know you can't answer, but This is just me thinking out loud. I think this might actually be better because we're doing the same thing over here. See? So we're doing the same thing over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead, create a line from this point to this point. Oh, Alt X. Create a line from this point to this point. And just make it round. So I like lines because they are just so easy to very quickly just do some like precise work without you actually using the line. You can just use it as like a reference. Even if we have less segments than that there are in the line, this will still work like this because we're just placing it on the line. So there we go. Okay, so we got that one done. Even though that one is not part of the bevels, it's good that we did that. So this side goes here, this one goes here, there will be a bevel up here. And this is basically where the ending happens. So everything after this I don't really care about because we have our top piece on top of it. All I care about is that really thin line that's sitting in between. Okay, good. So we got that stuff all ready and ready to go. So I'm now gonna go ahead, select this and delete it. And then just go to border select and just cap the poly. And now let's have a look. So if we now go ahead and sometimes it might actually be easier if you just go ahead and go to face select like this, hold shift and then go to edge mode, and that will convert that face to edges, and then just deselect whatever. So I'm going to just start by selecting this one because I want to first have a look and see how this works. Oh, would be nice if I actually continue it. Okay, so that seems to work correct now. Over here, the way that this transition seems to work is it seems to go up and then it just creates like a cut. So it goes up and creates like a cut. Let's try doing this. Let's try that we just deselect one edge so that we get like a merger like this. See? Of course, there are some problems over here, but I don't really mind that. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to do that in basically both sides. I'm going to first of all select this side, delete it, go to border select and just do a cap poly. And now if we just go ahead and go to face select. Oh, you know what? Let's just select both of these faces. Hold shift and then go to edge select. Deselect these pieces, deselect these two over here. Because we want to do this all in one go. So that it is the exact same diameter in bevels. This one, the bevel will end over here. Oh, deselect these. They will continue down here. Yeah, we need to do like a little bevel pass later on also for the other pieces before we get too far in. Deselect this because this is where the bevel will end over here and there will be an object merged into it. So that should do the trick. So at this point, you just want to kind of like look at your reference to see how big the bevel is. And then chamfer it. And I think if I set this to like 1.5. Ooh, that doesn't look good, but that looks fixable. It doesn't look good, but looks fixable. This one is the one I'm more worried about, so I want to just focus on it. Okay, so this is pretty good. Of course, we do need to like just do some hand movements just to make it look nice. But let's press OK for now. Let's press OK and let's start by fixing some of the worst problems. So the worst one is probably this one, where these pieces over here, because we have this corner where it just cuts off. Yeah, we kind of like just need to move these. So luckily for this, all I need to do is I just need to move this forward like this. And just hope that the corner is not mean to me or anything like that. No, it's not mean to me. This is a very tricky area because you're transitioning from a bevel to a hard edge. It is often better to just delete this face and then to clean it up later on. But I think that the faces are connected, so maybe this time we don't have to do that. Maybe this time what we can do, you can test it out by just placing a cut here. Yeah, see? Here, so technically disconnected. I know it might not look like it, but that's something that we'll fix. Okay, so next one. I'm gonna go in here. And for this one, I'm just moving it a little bit out, not too much. Over here. And I'm just carefully, you don't have to be 100% precise, because remember, when we turn it into a high poly, there will be some automatic smoothing, and that smoothing will kind of like even things out a bit more. But you do want to just take your time to move this quite nicely, so that it at least has like a round edge over here. And then it cuts over there. Geometry looks nice and messy, but at least we got this piece done. And then it will just transition over to like the normal side. Maybe this one I'm moving a little bit further back in. Yeah, maybe like move some of these a little bit more. Let's see. This is a little bit thin, but I'm not too worried about that, so I'm actually just going to leave that. This one is good, and then we go over here. And this one we just need to do the same thing, where we're just like carefully moving this out a little bit. So yeah, I do feel like that with weapons or guns like this, or very complicated modeling, I tend to often just go a little bit more manual and just do a little bit more by hand, just to make sure that it looks correct. And also because some of the shapes are often too hard to do, to just like throw on like a modifier to get the shape or something like that. Or it's not so much basic modeling, let me say it like that. It's very specific modeling. So sometimes you need to improvise a lot more. And that's what you will see me doing here. So, okay, so we transition this like this over here, which is actually pretty good. What I would do is I would probably move this a bit closer so that the transition is a little bit stronger. And then, of course, we need to clean this up, but that's something for later on. Over here, we have like this edge, but if you wiggle it around, it recalculates, and then it's able to show you the correct edge. And then later on, what we can do is we can just merge that together. Or clean that up, I mean. Sorry. So we got that one. Let's see this one over here. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's pretty clean. Okay, so we got those bevels. Now, you might have guessed I'm going to do like the cleanup here. I will throw that as a time lapse. Sure, I'll do that as like a quick time lapse, just so that you know exactly where I place everything, just to keep clean geometry. But let's not forget a very important thing is that we need to insert this, which I believe that it is already. Now, it's not as inserted as I want it to be, so I'm going to just inset it. Sorry if I say insert. That's, again, some programs call it insert, other ones call it inset. So let's just go ahead and inset this from 3ds Max. And then just do a Shift E. And then I'm just going to leave it, the Shift E, so I extrude this at nothing. And then I'm moving it up. And then I'm just scaling it. Oh, set this back to view. Scaling it flat, like you can see over here. And now at this point, if you just go ahead and press Grow Selection, so that you select the faces below it, we can now carefully just like scale this in so that it doesn't actually clip with the outside. I was quite surprised how deep that needs to go. But okay, so we got this one. Now this face over here. Oh, it's because I have select by angle turned on. Let's try that again. Click, shift, there we go. So, am I lucky enough that I can use local to flatten it? Nah, I was close. I was close that I was lucky enough for that. Maybe we can then try to just carefully rotate it back. There we go, see? So just flatten it. Rotate it back. There's still something, I think that we need to just like carefully move it down a little bit. I just need to rotate it. Just like a tiny bit. Wow, I need to rotate it smaller than that Max is really, that Max is good at. So in that case, I'm just going to deselect these pieces. And just move this carefully like down a bit more. Let's see. Shall we also give this a quick little bevel? Yeah, I think that might be nice. Just to give it just a single bevel. Not any segments, just like something like... Yeah, something like that. There we go. Okay, so that is flattened. Yeah, that should do the trick. How it looks a little bit strange over here. So if we just go ahead and do quick Alt X and just select these corners over here. Make sure to set your moving to view. Yeah, and then just like move this out a little bit. This one looks correct, I believe. There we go, just to fix that that little piece. So that is fine. It is also good that these sides are thicker than the thinner sides. That's no problem. If you have a problem with it, you should be able to just select these pieces, and if you turn on ignore back facing, you can select them without worrying about the rest. And probably like move these back a little bit without problem. Yeah, see? So I can just move this back a little bit over here just to make it a little bit more even. It's not exactly necessary, but it might look just like a little bit nicer. And I like to try things out often. Even though it's a gun, you've seen that we can actually be surprisingly flexible with guns, simply because they are slightly different. Every gun is feels like slightly different. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and kick in the time lapse now, and I will just re-optimize this and just like reattach all of my vertices to make it look good. So let's go ahead and continue with that.